afternoon and welcome to the July 21st, 2021 City Council work session. Thank you for joining us in this remote meeting format we're using as our state and community recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. This format enables the City Council to meet and take care of business while keeping everyone safe. For work sessions like this one where there is no opportunity for public comment, those wishing to access the meeting can do so by watching the live stream available on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by calling in to one of the phone numbers listed for this meeting on the public webcast and meeting materials web page. And thank you again for joining us. And with that, I'm going to turn it right over to the city manager for our first item on the unhoused response.
You're muted, Sarah.
That's probably due. Thank you. We're joined today by our talented team. I think Christy and Matt are kicking this off, so I'll just ask them to jump in.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mayor and councilors. We're here today to kind of keep this conversation going around unhoused response. As you might recall, we have a huge team of people coordinated to work on, supporting the temporary camps that we have in place and also addressing a lot of different hotspots that we have across the community that are being impacted, and they're doing a fabulous job trying to keep up with the volume of work. I also want to kind of start out by giving thanks and gratitude to our service providers that are working so closely with us. We recognize they are also working with limited resource constraints as well, and they're always at the table there supporting this work. Our community partners, especially the Eugene Chamber, has just been phenomenal to work with. And then, of course, our colleagues at Lane County, who we work with very, very much to kind of figure out how do all these systems connect. So you might recall at the end of April is when you guys took action to approve the safe tent and car site ordinance. And since that time, there's been a couple of different conversations that council's had. Reagan came and joined the group to talk about kind of the whole structure that was being set up, and talked about how the sites would be regulated and supported and all of those kinds of things. Peter then also came and gave you an update on the work that was happening with outreach with the people that are living in the temporary sites, some of the car sites, and also the work that was happening and connecting with businesses. At that point, we said that we would be coming back. We kind of got your feedback and said we'd be coming back to talk more about some of the sites that what we identified as kind of tier one. We have a whole suite of sites that we continue to look at, but we want to make sure that we're continuing to keep progressing those that are ready to move forward. And so today, what we'll be looking for is a potential action. Next slide, please. So as we have done for the past few meetings that we've had with you, we'll give you an update on the current conditions. We'll also provide information about the safe sleep sites that we'll give you a sense of where we are across the board, but more specifically, we'll be talking about the things that we think are ready for action. In addition, what's not bulleted out here is the rest stop designation for St. Vincent de Paul. That's a little bit of a one-off from the work that we've been doing, but we also wanted council to have a chance to take action on that today as well. Next slide, please. I never get tired of seeing this next slide because we really need to continue to focus on the broader system. I have the distinct pleasure of getting to work on the HIP policy team. You guys are familiar with that. And also with our colleagues at Lane County around implementation of the Technical Assistance Collaborative report around shelter and homeless support. And today we're taking another critical step in the system and providing the link through the systems development work with the establishment of the safe sites to help connect our unhoused and unsheltered folks to services through these sites. And that's why that provider work that Peter and Reagan have been doing is absolutely critical. And to have our providers at the table trying to figure out how to help support people to move along the continuum of shelter. And so today we'll be really focused on that area. I did want to mention that next week we'll have a joint elected officials meeting. That meeting will focus on the Technical Assistance Collaborative recommendations, the progress that we're making, and give you some updates there. But it's a big part of this overall system, so I feel really fortunate to get a chance to work on all aspects. Next slide, please. Thank you. So on this next slide, just kind of want to remind you where we're at with the homeless by name list. The June count was 2,506 individuals who are reaching out for services. And so that number kind of has been steady over the last few months. We think that number may be low in terms of the number of people that we see and experiencing homelessness on the streets. And so continue to monitor that. We're continuing to stay connected through outreach with our unhoused individuals and also with businesses and those that are being impacted. And then lastly, I would just say that our urban camping criteria continue to remain in place. Although a lot of COVID restrictions have been lifted, the guidelines remain the same for congregate shelters. And so capacity isn't necessarily increasing in those areas. And then also just the continued support of our unhoused individuals as we continue to work through things. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
So good afternoon, Mayor and City Councilors. I'm Matt Rodriguez, the Public Works Director. I'm going to dive in a little bit more in the current conditions and then the proposed sites for your consideration for approval, and then hand it back to Christy. So this slide, I think you're familiar with. We show an update every time, and it's basically the trends and requests for service over time related to tent and vehicle camping. The two lines at the bottom are basically tent camping and rights of way and in parks, and you can see they continue to stay, have a relatively similar trajectory. The line in blue represents requests for service for vehicle camping, and as it has through the pandemic, it continues to rise. And I do just want to represent again, this is not representing people or even individual campsites. This is requests coming in from the public and requests that are put in from our own internal employees when there's something that we need to address. And here is the map we've also shown. This is for the month of June, and this relates to work orders. So this is actually when city teams are going out and taking actions related to tent or vehicle camping. And as we've seen in the past, it is really distributed all across the city, with some concentrations definitely around our temporary managed sites in West Eugene vehicle camping. So a little bit, before I start talking about Washington Jefferson Park, just a little more broadly, we continue to have people staying not only at Washington Jefferson Park, but at 13th Avenue. These are two kind of larger camp locations where we have some staff on site to help manage the situation. We've taken some steps in the last couple of weeks, and we will continue to implement some significant changes to on-site staffing at both of these locations. It includes hiring 4 additional park hosts for a total of 8, which will work in tandem with security officers from a private security company to help monitor the sites 24 hours, 7 days a week. We'll also be sending out weekly information updates to interested parties for both camp locations. And actually, similarly, we'll be doing the same thing for interested parties in West Eugene related to vehicle camping. Specific to Washington Jefferson Park, the last tent count was 260 tents. Our team has identified about 40 of those appear just to be for belongings and not people in them. We're working to develop strategies to better organize the tent sites and make it easier for staff to manage the space and allow for a natural reduction of campers as people choose to leave the site. Right now, it's very porous and it's really hard to manage new people coming in as others leave. So if we can organize better around that, it will be easier to reduce the number of people that are there. And as we open up new safe sites, return that park to public use. We've also added additional resources to an already substantial effort to better manage trash and keep the area clean and sanitary. So 13th Avenue, again, the second larger site where we have Parkos on site. Last count, we had 73 tents. That's down a few from the high of 75. In addition to the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week site monitoring and weekly emails to interested parties, we've also installed temporary fencing around 13th Avenue to kind of better manage the ingress and egress and really control the space a little bit more. These changes that we're implementing are really the result of input and conversations we've had with Jefferson Westside neighborhood. So really appreciate the feedback we're receiving from them about how we can better manage that site and support the neighborhood's concerns. We've also placed 2 large shade structures at the camp and have potable water service, which I know is a concern as this weather gets hotter again. So in West Eugene, for the past several weeks, city staff have reached out to dozens of businesses to implement new parking regulations on streets. This effort is related to council's approval of a plan to address impacts in West Eugene through parking restrictions and code amendments for on-street parking regulation. The code amendments take effect July 24th, so that's coming up this week, and then are intended to improve access for commercial vehicles that serve the area. To date, we have new commercial parking only and no parking signs that have been implemented on Owens Loop South and Northeast and Cap Port. And our team is currently preparing to add signs on West 7th Avenue, west of Burleson, and West Tech Drive. As part of the business outreach, staff have contacted several dozen businesses to ascertain how they use streets and how they use their driveways for shipping and other uses. Businesses have generally been appreciative of city's effort to really contact them and understand their business need, and are glad that the changes are making place. Some businesses have shared that they want employees and customers to continue to have the ability to park on street. And that is something where if we put commercial marked vehicles only, that isn't allowed. So our parking managers is continuing to explore creating an admin order that would allow on-street commuter permit parking for employees of those businesses. For the new parking code enforcement that's effective this Saturday, July 24th, the parking services team will initially issue warnings along with a flyer explaining the new code rules to educate community members through mid-August. And this warning is issued to a vehicle license plate. So after 2 warnings, we go forward and issue a citation. Additionally, Parking Services has been working on a staffing plan to provide more responsive service to enforce parking violations. And we continue to respond to requests for service relating to parking violations, not only in West Eugene, but across the city. So safe sleep sites. Last time we provided you with some potential sites that we were exploring. Today we're sharing 2 potential city managed safe sleep sites and 1 privately managed rest stop site that Christy mentioned for potential action. We wanted to revisit this continuum of phases for development of safe sleep sites. Last time we came back to you, we were really in phase 2 where we're narrowing down sites to bring forward for potential approval of safe sleep sites, and then work towards phase 4, which would be implementation. Just a reminder that we continue to have sites that we're reviewing, new properties that come on the market or new ideas that people have. They start at phase 1 and go through this process. So having 2 to bring to you today doesn't mean we don't have more in the pipeline, and we're hoping that we can bring some back for potential action in the fall after council break is over. So this is a map of the sites that we've shared with you. We're going to focus on the 2 that we're bringing forward for consideration. One is at 2nd and Garfield, which is the westernmost circle, and the other is at Chase Commons Park, which is the easternmost circle. And we'll dive into those a little bit more closely here. So 2nd and Garfield, this is an LTD property. It's about 5 acres. We're working with LTD to really nail down a site plan. There are some areas of the site that really aren't usable for some different considerations. So we're working to figure out what the right balance of vehicles and tents are. It could be that it's all vehicles, but we're looking at some different configurations. We also are working pretty in depth with a provider to start to figure out what support looks like for that potential site. And we have a 1-year estimate in the range of $530,000 to support it. We've done neighborhood outreach, as we shared with you during phase 2 here. And if this is approved, we'll dive into a little bit more specific site outreach that's really informing folks of what we're doing and learning about different considerations we might want to think about as we're setting up this site. Chase Commons Park, it's a city park. This, although we're looking for an approval as a safe sleep site, it really would be set up as a rest stop like model. The reason that we'd like for it to be a safe site is it would allow immediate occupancy of 20 huts versus the rest stop approval, which would be 15 for 6 months before it goes to 20. So it's a little bit more flexible. 1 year of operations, we're estimating on the range of $50,000. And that's really looking at how our existing models with rest stops work. So we have some additional work to do to really nail down what the cost will be. And like the 2nd and Garfield site, there's some additional outreach to do. We have talked to adjacent neighbors in depth about the site and want to make sure that we're working with them collaboratively. So I'm going to hand it back over to Christy.
Thank you, Matt. So Matt mentioned some of the costs that are associated as we move into lease agreements to the one-time setups. And so this is a little bit familiar to you. We've talked a little bit about funding sources, but as you know, we're going to incur both ongoing and that one-time setup costs. And on June 28th, Council took action to approve a supplemental budget request to the tune of $1.175 million to help fill the gap as we were awaiting funding either from ARPA funds and things like that. Council also took action to approve CDBG CV3 funds to the tune of $200,000 to also help with navigation setup and with the establishment of those sites. $3.5 million was approved by our local delegation at the state level, and that funding has not been received yet by the county. It will route through the county and then come to the city, and we're working closely with our county partners to give them any information that they need and work through what that pass-through process is going to look like. There's some home ARP funding of $4.7 million. The consortium will make some decisions about that. As you might recall, the split between the city of Eugene and the city of Springfield is a 76-24% model. So we're looking to that as an opportunity too. And you might recall that staff are starting to develop estimates associated with establishing and using the ARPA funds that are coming from the federal government. That work is starting to happen in developing plans at the executive team level, and we'll continue to, as you might recall, that council will be receiving more information, having more discussion about that as we move into the fall. But we believe that homelessness and housing will be areas that may be receiving funding through that resource. And then of course, we're also looking to partnerships as we move forward as well. Next slide, please, Matt. So as I mentioned, we have one sort of different request that's not part of our safe sites, but in addition to what Matt talked about today, St. Vincent de Paul, Peace Health, and Lane County, who have partnered to provide 6 pallet shelters at the Eugene service station on Highway 99. And this is for homeless adults that are being discharged from the hospital, so they have some respite place to go to in transition, instead of them having to just go back into an unsheltered situation without support. St. Vincent de Paul has requested adding 6 additional shelters to the site. Peace Health is providing the operational funding, and St. Vincent de Paul is providing the space provisions of toilets, garbage, site management, and Lane County is providing the pallet shelters. And in order to enable them to expand beyond the 6 shelters that they currently have, the city manager is recommending this site as a rest stop. And per Eugene City Code 4.81610C, sub 10, sub C, the site must be approved by the city council by motion and an agreement for the agreement to be executed before it can be used. So we're asking for council to take action on that today as well. Next slide, please. So the potential actions for you to consider today are the action to move to approve Chase Commons for use as a safe tent site. And Matt gave you a lot of details about how we would plan to structure that site. Move to approve the 310 Garfield Avenue site as both a safe tent and safe parking site. The reason that we're talking about both is we might be able to accomplish a little bit more by, it's a large site, and we could perhaps add a few more spaces into that site by allowing for both. And then also move to approve the 450 Highway 99 as a rest stop. That's the St. Vincent de Paul site. And then you probably don't need to direct us to continue to return, because we're going to return in the fall, but it's on here for you to continue to help advance that work. So, and with that, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that summary. It's an impressive amount of work, and as these things go, moving very quickly. So we really appreciate the investment and the increased investment in staff. And I see both Claire and Randy in the queue, so I'll turn it over to you, Claire.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff, for all of this really hard work and moving this along as fast as we are. But I'm really feeling a sense of urgency, and I'm challenged that we only have two sites that were being brought back, and one of those might only house a rest stop. So I'm a little confused about that. So I'm just seeing that my constituents in Whitaker will not be able to use Washington Jefferson Park at all this summer. It's completely off, out of their ability to use as it was intended, and that's a really hard thing to have to recognize. I know we were moving quickly, but now we're about to go on a break. We only have these two sites, so that means that tent camping is going to continue in the park. So I appreciate the additional resources being put in there and the 24/7 monitoring. That's super helpful. I guess I would say in terms of operations there, if the tents that are, you know, I know you're, as folks move out, you're trying not to let new folks move in. And if things could be clustered in a more gathered together more centrally, so that maybe the skate park is accessible to people who want to use it, and the grass around the skate park, that would be helpful. But I just got a plea from a resident who lives at 5th and Jefferson today about the terrible impacts that she's experiencing by living right there at this point. So I was confused, though. I felt like I got two different things about the Chase Commons. So are you asking for it to be used as a tent site that would hold more than a rest stop is allowed?
We're asking for it to be established as a safe site, safe tent site, because our intention is that while it will be rest stop model like, we want to be able to put up to 20 folks in there as soon as possible, as soon as the provider capacity is there to support that, but move in a way that makes sense and is consistent with the conversations that we've had with the neighboring businesses and residents and neighborhood association to support that effort. And Councilor Ye's been super helpful over the last couple of years and working on the rest stop site for that location. So
Great. Yeah, I'd like to see it at least be used for at least 20 people. It seems like rather large. And then you did not give an estimate for how many people might be at the Garfield site.
the estimate for that site is around, it's between 50 and 60. So if we do the mix, it will be closer to 60, and we're working on trying to continue to refine that site plan as close as we can to dial it in and create as much capacity there as absolutely possible.
Great. And then on the Highway 99 spot, I don't know if that was gone over rather quickly. So that's a medical respite site for folks who are unhoused, who are being released from the hospital, to go and have a place to heal from their surgery or whatever it is they're healing from. So Peace Health and St. Vincent de Paul are proposing to double the number of units there, and that is the purpose of what those units will be doing. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thanks. I will support the motions.
Thank you, Randy, and then Mike.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Christy and Matt, for the presentation and your work on this, and really all of our staff. I also want to thank the public who's continuing to struggle through this issue, trying to learn how to live, how to work, how to conduct business around spaces being occupied for which they were never designed or intended to be used for. So I'm very eager, as Councilor Syret is, for getting these safe sites up and running. It'd be great if we could stand them all up at once. On the other hand, there's also some advantages to starting off smaller and learning and making our adjustments as we bring more sites on board. But nevertheless, we need to keep pushing on that as much as we possibly can. I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the business community that has really stepped up in engaging in the process and helping us. Brittany Quick Warner with the Chamber has a group formed that's working parallel with the city and helping with that. We have businesses that have actually paid for dumpsters to be set out. And that's, while I know we've had some problems with that in the past, it is making a difference on the amount of refuge that is gathering on the streets, which is safer and healthier for everybody involved. So that's a piece. I also would encourage, and I know there's been some outreach to all the nonprofits, but especially Pastor Gabe Petrovich, who's really done an outstanding job of taking our unhoused community, organizing them and channeling them to help with the cleanups and to help manage some of the side offshoots, impacts of the camping. And anything we can do to support him, I think, is moving in the right direction, because not only is it helping to clean up the spaces, it's actually helping to retrain our unhoused community and trying to move them towards a better self-sustaining, self-sufficient, and healthier life. So anything we can do along those lines, I think, are absolutely fantastic. As I said, the dumpsters that have been put out by the businesses, and they aren't going to do that forever, but that's showing a marked difference already in the refuse that's been generated. And again, Pastor Gabe going out, he actually organized, I don't know how many campers, there's quite a few, large RVs along Terry Street, and it was starting to look very rough. And he was able to get this group out there, and they progressed through and got it cleaned up on their own. So kudos to him, and please pull him in any way that you can and support him. And I may need a second round. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and then.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. Christy and Matt, thank you very much for both the report and for all of the hard work. I'm impressed that with the size of this effort, you're making steps and progressing on the side of delivering more and more services that the council seems the direction, the policy direction the council seems to be going. Matt mentioned the July 24th implementation of the parking ordinance, the new move there. But what I didn't hear outside of that was any new efforts or update on enforcement of illegal camping. And on that front, for example, we get a number of emails, I'm sure you do too, from folks who are really struggling, and especially some of the stuff on 6th and 7th and High and under the Ferry Street Bridge as it affects 777 High Street. They sent pictures today, they're pleading. And I'm wondering, why are people still camping there? Why don't we clear that out? Why is that allowed when it's obviously detrimental and illegal camping? Can anybody answer that?
Councilor Clark, I'll answer it. That specific location is a little bit complicated and a little bit of a one-off. So we are making sure that we're assessing every camp that we come into contact with or we get a request for service related to. We go and talk to the campers about expectations and changes if they're gonna, if that is a place they could feasibly in any way stay. EPD is involved in that too. If I understand correctly, and this is a very specific situation, there are actually two pieces of property right there, that being one of them, that were not transferred to us in the jurisdictional transfer of Highway 99. That was an oversight, and they're still owned by ODOT, which means we have to work in a different way.
I'm sorry, they're still what?
Still owned by ODOT.
ODOT, okay.
It's something that we just learned of recently, and we're working with ODOT for transfer because that's not, we own everything around there. It was never the intention that they would still be owned by ODOT. But when they're owned by ODOT, they have to have a separate system for how we actually go about posting and enforcing.
But how long? That's been ongoing now for quite a long time. I'm not trying to be harsh with you, Matt. You're doing a great job. I'm just trying to find specific answers because I get these questions every day, and I don't know how to answer them very well. So that's been ongoing for months, and so we just recently learned of the difference in jurisdictional ownership of that land.
Well, I'll tell you, I just recently learned about it. I'm not sure how long our staff has, just to be very clear. I know that, and you probably have even seen over the course of time some information about our interaction with that particular camp. So obviously here, and we were just talking today about that particular location and the challenges that were being reported. So we've had many interactions with it. We've worked with the campers on behavior. Now we're going to be working in a different way with our partners to help address the behavior we're seeing there, and we'll be working with EPD to help address that too.
Do you need anything different from council in order to clear that space of illegal camping?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're working within our normal system of assessment right now. It's really about working with partners.
So it's the movement of ODOT at this point and their ability to give us permission to enforce there. Is that what I'm understanding?
We'll be working with ODOT on that, yes. If we have to have some control over ODOT property through lease or other agreement in order to enforce and actually move people off of ODOT property. So
any guesstimate on how long that'll take?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're working on it, and I can give you an update as soon as I learn more.
Cool, thank you, sir. The camps at 13th and then in Washington Jefferson. Those are unsanctioned camping, as I understand it. And are we saying that CDC guidelines are that we're forced to be in a position not to enforce illegal camping there?
So
go ahead, Matt, jump in.
So since we had the CDC recommendations for, homelessness and how you interact with it during COVID, those guidelines have not changed. Christy talked about it for congregate shelters. It hasn't changed there. It hasn't changed for unsheltered homelessness. I believe last time we checked with our public health partners at the county level, the guidance has not changed. So as we have, since we instituted kind of that new framework for how we're assessing camps, we haven't prioritized enforcement in those locations to try and be in alignment with that public health guidance.
So it's a recommendation, but it's not an order of any sort. If council majority voted in favor of enforcing the illegal camping ordinances as it pertains to Washington, Jefferson, and 13th, then the city staff would do that?
That is correct. It would be council's prerogative to direct that if they chose.
Okay, thank you. I only have 30 seconds left, Mayor, so I'm gonna ask for a second round. When I get down to zero here, I'm gonna ask for a second round to go through the chart again that you brought up of service calls. I want to define that a little more closely. I want to be supportive of all the things that we're creating as opportunities for people who are homeless to have a place to safely stay. But as I've said repeatedly, we're not doing the job of enforcing our rules about where it's not okay to stay. And I'm coming to a frustrated end of where I'm willing to keep supporting the other one without the former. Thank you. Can I have a second round, please, Mayor?
Yes, I'll give you a second round, and on to Alan and then Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for this work. It's a lot of good work, a lot of work. The reality is we all think this should take less time and be faster. And it just takes more time and more effort than we'd like. And so I, among everybody else in the city, is frustrated at the speed that we're going, but I think we're working as fast as we can. So I thank you for all of that. I was going to ask about the CDC guidelines and the shelter-in-place order, which and apparently it still stands. Any indication of revisions of that from CDC and which relates to Washington, Jefferson, and 13th, I suspect?
No, we keep checking in with public health. I've talked with Karen Gaffney several times, and she's been following up on it as well, because we want to stay very informed about that so that we know what directions we can move. The one thing I will say that's the temporary urban camps are an incredible amount of work to maintain right now for our public works staff, and they're doing a really good job, and our police department is doing a great job. And the one thing I would say is that provides a space where we can help having people together in that space while we continue to work on having better long-term solutions. Gives us a chance to stay coordinated with them and help to get them connected to services. When we start closing down the temporary urban areas that we're utilizing right now, that gets dispersed all across the city. And right now we're able to use our resources that we have to really focus on the high number areas of individuals. And so we understand we're wanting to continue to open up more sites too and continue to lower the census, but we want to do it in a way that doesn't just continue to spill out into other areas. And we've experienced some of that with the car camping enforcement too, or we've moved and it's kind of created other issues. And so we're really trying to stay on top of all of that. So.
Yeah, maybe you can, one or two sentences, describe what the CDC shelter in place actually says for people that are watching.
I think the CD, I don't have that in front of me right now, but I think the CDC guidelines are really just a matter of helping people stay in place so that they're not continuing to be exposed or expose others unnecessarily to the COVID virus.
Especially since they are in that vulnerable category.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Washington Jefferson Park, the impact on that park, I was driving by that the other day. We're going to have to rebuild part of it and replant part of it. Any sense of what we need to do there once that camp gets resolved and cost, and when we might be able to do that? Getting to Claire's question about is there any chance of getting that done this summer?
That's a great question, Councilor Zelenka. I can check in with my Parks and Open Space team to see what they believe we need to do once that camp is no longer functioning to restore the area.
Yeah, I too have been barraged by a whole bunch of people talking about this issue and the homeless camps and their impacts. And rest assured, it's not just a Eugene problem, it's a West Coast problem. It's also the fact that we have neglected for decades this problem, and most people either didn't want to care about this issue or it wasn't directly affecting them. And that trio of problems that I keep talking about, affordable housing, substance abuse, access to substance abuse treatment, and mental health services, those have baked for decades and decades. And now that lack of interest that people have, now that it's in their face, they're interested, but that lack of interest and all that lack of attention is really coming home to roost now. So lesson learned for let's not repeat that by keep doing the same thing over and over again. I asked about license plate identification. Is there where people are coming from? Anybody have any data on that?
Jeff Petrie's on the line, so he's probably better positioned to answer that. Jeff, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, am I here? Okay. Here I am. Sorry. We have not written down every license plate of every vehicle we've seen, but we do know that there are a lot of Oregon license plates. And we also have some out-of-town state plates. I don't have an exact counting of every license plate that we're tracking, but it is something we might be able to do through our citation system, how we do when we issue the tows and the other vehicles that we could, because there's a legal action taken, we can aggregate that information.
Could you characterize it? Is it vast majority that are from Oregon, or?
I'm not comfortable characterizing at this point. It's we'd rather go from the citations that we've issued in the field to track that. Of the ones that have license plates, some vehicles do not have plates, and that's another question. Yeah. So, it's a data point that we can gather the information on and report back.
Yeah, I need another round, Mayor, but I like the idea of starting small and growing. You can go slow to go fast in this case. And what's the ultimate build out of potentially Verchase Commons number of people? I mean, starting out at 20, but.
We're evaluating that because one of the things that we want to assess, it's a smaller piece of property. And so we want to make sure that we don't overrun that area by putting too many people in that space. And so we're going to evaluate that as we go. And if there's a chance and the support by the surrounding area, then maybe be able to take a look at expanding upon that. But right now we're again, it's that go slow to go fast and make sure that we do it right and in a way that really respects the surrounding area as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to approach this. I'll need another round, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer for a first round, but I just want to give counselors a time check because I now have 4 counselors wanting a second round. We do have another item of business and it's our Sustainability Commission. So I'm going to ask for that second round. If you take it, it's quick. We get regular updates from staff. They can follow up with you individually, and I want to make sure we get to our second item. So with that, Jennifer?
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to echo what Claire said about creating a possibility for the skate park section. That's a really good feedback. That would be fantastic. And I think, is heavily used in our community, especially during the summer. That would be great if that was possible. The other thing, it looks like you guys are still looking at other sites. I'm wondering if there's or maybe I missed it and you said, was there a timeline where you might have more to suggest?
Matt, I'll jump in if that's okay. So we have some very encouraging conversations that are going on, and up until honestly Monday, we were trying to figure out how many we're going to be able to bring back. And when you come back in the fall, we believe that we'll have more for you to take action on, but they just weren't quite ready for that next step. One of the groups that we're working with is Square One Villages, which would be super, super awesome to have a partnership with them, and they'd be a great provider. And we're working through details, but it's been a great conversation. Their board has been super helpful and had a lot of conversations on this topic. We're also, continuing to pursue property on River Avenue. And so those conversations are continuing to move forward. We're looking at the, it's Matt, if I get this right, I think it's the ODOT property that's on the west side of town as well. And so those are conversations where we're looking at, that's a large parcel of property, and we're looking at what can be used on that site, and then also environmental and what's the short and long-term risk. So all of those things and some others, Matt and I were made aware of 2 other pieces of property this week. We're looking into those. So I think we're going to have more, hopefully soon, but we wanted to make sure before you go on break, the ones we knew were ready, that you were able to take action on. A lot of words to hear.
No, I appreciate that. No, I appreciate it. And that's very encouraging that we're really close on a few more sites. So I wanted to say, I also was hoping there was more capacity at Chase, but I really appreciate staff and the neighborhood association going to the site and looking at it. And my understanding is, for folks who might be confused as to why it's so big and why there are so few people, is that there are some issues with the waterway that is behind the site. And we are required to be so far away from that waterway for our site. And so that limited the space that could be used in a meaningful way for the folks. So it was a little disappointing that we're only able to use so much of the site, but I am really thankful that staff didn't just give up and looked at it and found a creative way to still use a site, which, while is not impactless to the community, I think makes a lot of sense for a place that will work for our area and take some pressure off other areas that are already providing, more than their share of spaces. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to let Matt come in for his first round.
Thanks, Mayor. Councilor Groves and I saw a great baseball game last night, so forgive me for making a clunky baseball metaphor here. Rather than swing for the fences and try and hit home run after home run by advancing all the safe sleep sites at once, I think it is a move in the right direction to get them on, get them over, and get them in. The 2 safe sleep sites, Second and Garfield and Chase Commons, and the rest stop respite with St. Vincent de Paul Peace Health Lane County, will allow for the city to see what works well and what doesn't before moving forward with more sites. So though I hear the consternation and the frustration that there's an appearance that we're moving slowly, I think we're moving appropriately and wisely. And I strongly support what is in front of us today. What I don't support, and what I have heartburn around, Mayor, is a potential recommendation that flies in the face of CDC guidelines at a time when the Delta and Lambda variants are raging. 54.86% of Lane County residents are fully vaccinated. In a state in which we're near 70%, of course, 54.86% of residents are fully vaccinated. And I don't know if our entire body on council are fully vaccinated. At last check, 7 out of 8, 87.5% council fully vaccinated. So if there are any recommendations that fly in the face of CDC recommendations, I urge colleagues to maintain policy that adheres to the guidelines of the CDC and for the safety of our unhoused and vulnerable population and our entire community. Thank you, Mayor.
Oops. All right, Emily, I'll let you come in for your first round.
Thank you. thank you so much to all the teams doing this work. I know it's huge and even larger than I can imagine. Of course, I'm also frustrated that we can't accommodate more people now, but I'm pleased with the work that you're doing, and I'm confident that you'll come back with more places. Certainly doing that by fall is going to be critical. And I also agree that we need to be careful. That COVID-D is pretty scary, and I don't want us to have to go backwards. So yes, please get vaccinated, keep washing your hands. And I'd also like to see that skate park usable. I've also heard from people about that. And we're all making a lot of sacrifices. And so if we can make that one a little bit less, especially for active youth, I think that would be a good idea. So mostly I just want to say I share everyone's frustration. This is not a good situation. And thank you very, very much for the very hard and long-term work that this is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Semple. Mayor, may I just say one quick thing about WJ? So I think moving to the 7-day-a-week, 24-hour monitoring will help with the skate park. That's not actually an area where we are saying people can stay. It's just that if on the weekend someone comes in and camps, we're subject to a 10-day notice for them to leave because it is ODOT property that we lease and we have to follow their standards. So having 7-day-a-week, 24-hour folks on site will allow them to go and let people know that if they set up a tent there, that they have to leave before they become established.
Thank you. That was a helpful clarification. All right, so counselors, it's 12:51. If you have a question that you must ask in order to vote today, I'll give you your second round. But if it's a general question, I want to put a hold on that so that we can actually get this done and move on to our next item. Okay. Randy and then Claire.
Thank you, Mayor. I had quite a bit I wanted to say, but I won't because of where we are. But I will point out, and it's frustrating for me, this is the most pressing issue I believe we are facing as a city. Individual councilors have zero impact on how things are scheduled, when they're scheduled, and how much time they are allotted. It's very hard to be trying to move this ball down the field with one hand tied behind our back. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand we've got another important issue to listen to, but it's incredibly frustrating when every time we get to this, and this is definitely by far the most important thing I hear about in my ward. If you look at where the vast majority of the vehicle complaints are, they're in Ward 8. That's what I listen to every day and trying to help people work through this thing. We need more time than what we've been allotted to address this issue.
Okay, I hear you. Claire and then Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I also had some more comments, but I will limit this to saying I want to strongly recommend to the city manager that we be prepared to hold an emergency meeting if in the next few weeks there are more sites that are ready to be approved and not wait until September to do that. That is a plea I am making along the lines of what Randy was sharing as well.
Mike and then Alan.
Thank you, Mayor. One question for Matt, and I think it's Matt, maybe it's also Christy. In the last update we had, there was a statement about the number of spaces in current camps that are in emergency camps that are unfilled. Can you update me on that? How many spaces are currently unfilled or do we have open in any emergency camps?
I think what you might, yeah, I'll jump in, Matt, if there's something more to add. I think what you might be referring to is some of the congregate shelter camps. And we mentioned that on an average 2 to 5 spaces a day are available. That number fluctuates quite a bit as people move in and out of those systems. So what we're trying to do is make sure our police officers and others have an opportunity to help people be aware of that and get relocated to those options as those become available. Does that?
Yeah, it kind of helps. It kind of answers my question. I had a much longer series of comments I wanted to make referring to the calls for service and defining that a little better. Is that people, and I'll just ask, is that people complaining about homelessness, or is that people who are homeless saying, I need help? Matt.
It's people calling to say that they have a concern, not people calling that are homeless.
So 1,227 is a new all-time high for us.
I would welcome Jeff to jump in. It's definitely the high within since COVID's begun.
I'll just say I couldn't possibly agree with Randy more. This is by a long shot, the most important issue in our community today, and we're not addressing it adequately with policy. And I think it's because we're not spending the time to dive deep enough to make sure our policy is right. Staff is doing an amazing job trying to fulfill what they understand our policies to be. But I believe our policy response is absolutely inadequate to the problem. And I'll be voting no today on anything further until we have a serious meeting about this, where we devote the entirety of the meeting to it and better strategies for better policy to help staff deal with it more quickly. It's just gone on too strongly for too long. And it's time for us to deal with it differently. And I support Claire's recommendation or openness to an emergency meeting prior to. Thanks.
Thank you. And Alan.
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same thing. We should be available. I certainly am available in August for a meeting. As soon as things come up, we should get them. We shouldn't wait till September. I agree, this is the most important thing in front of the council, and we need to spend the appropriate amount of time and more time. Real quickly, I support the St. Vincent de Paul. 6 more bed spaces is great. And Chamber, great for participating with us, and the skate park reopening, hopefully that can happen. The question I had was related to provider capacity and our ability to do what we're trying to do. 2 parts of that. Do we have provider capacity through the nonprofits and government to do these 2 sites? And then what about the next sites?
We have the provider capacity to work on these 2 sites. I mentioned Square One Village. They would be a provider at that site if we're able to continue to work out an agreement with them. And then we have to have a lot more significant conversation about how to continue to bolster that provider capacity that we have. St. Vincent always comes to the table. They are always there and ready to help. And all the providers are. One of the things that Peter has been doing is having conversations with the provider groups to think about how they could actually do some consolidation of services and utilize the resources that they do have. And so we're continuing to work on that, but it's a gap.
Yeah, and finally, I did put in a work session poll on getting funding for homelessness services conducted with climate change projects. So I'm hoping we can get that scheduled. That's kind of part of the urgency as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, I'm going to turn to you to put the first motion on the table.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Chase Commons Park for use as a safe tent site.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposed. 1, that passes 6-1. Thank you. Next one.
I move to approve 310 Garfield Avenue for use as both a safe tent and safe parking site.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opposed. 1, that passes 6-1. Thank you. And finally.
I move to approve 450 Highway 99 North as a rest stop site.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you. That passes. And I appreciate it. I hear your frustrations about being forced to move quickly, but we also have an item next, and they have a sense of urgency around their issues as well. And so thank you very much for all that hard staff work. And with that, Manager, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce the next item.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to talk about the Sustainability Commission's work plan, and I'm going to just ask Samantha to jump in.
Sounds great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Can you all see this okay? Awesome. Well, Council, we just want to thank you for your time today. I know you've got a lot of pressing issues on your plate, so we really, really appreciate this time. I know that our commission has been looking forward to it for a bit, so we're excited to be here. My name is Samantha Roberts, and I am the staff liaison to the Sustainability Commission. I'm here today with Sustainability Manager Chelsea Clinton and our Commission Chair Zach Mulholland and Vice Chair Mtima Richardson. We will walk through the annual report and some recommendations that the Commission has created this year. And I want to start just by grounding us in appreciation and gratitude for this work. It's a lot of research. It's a large volume of research that they've created, and we're really grateful to be talking about moving that forward. So before we dive into content, I want to take a brief moment to provide some objectives for our time together. So first, Zach is going to walk us through some FY21 accomplishments in the work plan that you approved in the fall of 2020. Then we'll dive into and spend the bulk of our time in the recommendations that they've prepared for you. We've heard from leadership that we want to find ways to weave this work into the larger body of climate work that staff and council are already doing. So we'll wrap up this presentation with a set of staff recommendations for next steps that align with that work moving forward. So with that, Zach, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Great, thank you for that introduction, Samantha. Mayor and Council, I just want to start to thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. This is going to be hopefully a good time to get feedback on some of our recommendations and the work of the previous year, and to hopefully give some feedback on the staff recommendations for next steps. A couple of highlights of our work from this past year. We've done some work on the CAP 2.0, including working with staff on the CAP 2.0 dashboard and the process to review community recommended actions. We also passed 9 recommendations, including 2 that have received work session polls. So thank you very much for the work session polls on the CAP 2.0 funding and waste management at large events. We also passed 3 resolutions, including resolutions in support of the 100% renewable electricity bill and some environmental justice bills supported by NAACP and Beyond Toxics that the city ended up supporting and that passed. So thank you very much for all of the work that the city has done to get those policies passed at the state level. We also set up our process to award Green Fund grants, and we were able to award our first grant at our last meeting of the year that went to NAACP for a community art project that we're very excited about supporting. Last, we are also trying to continue to incorporate equity into our work. We've received 8 presentations this year, including 6 from staff, and we're trying to build equity into those presentations so that we are as well informed of a body as we can possibly be on the work that is being done, and continue to try and put equity into our work products and into our outreach to make sure that we are hearing from everybody in our community. We have 4 recommendations that of the 9 that we sent that we were still looking for additional action on. So we'll just give you a real brief overview of these, and then Samantha's going to talk about some of the staff recommended next steps for these. And then we'll have some time for feedback and questions and answers. So Mtima, do you want to start us off and talk a little bit about the air quality and fossil fuel response proposals?
Yeah, the commission has identified some problems with Eugene's current air quality. Data shows wood stoves in Oregon contribute 12.8 million pounds of hazardous particulates annually, which is on par with a major wildfire. Second, air toxics from 3 known industrial polluters within the city limits who have already been fined for illegal toxic emissions. And 3, idling trains that are emitting a significant amount of pollutions at the Fish Street station, which is a key area in our community. And also the lack of funding for enforcement. At the moment in the city limits, it's based on citizen complaints. We recommend the city partner and collaborate with state agencies and EWEB to promote and fund changeouts for uncertified wood stoves, and also prohibiting idling as a standard policy, and monitor known polluters instead of relying on self-reporting and citizen complaints. And for the fossil fuel risk fund, the city of Eugene faces financial risk from the fossil fuel life cycle, meaning the storage of fuel, transportation, and the combustion of fuel. Existing financial insurance are inadequate for protecting public finances from these risks. The city lacks information about existing insurance coverage on the potential liability in the case of a disaster from the fossil fuel companies operating within the city, or also from the railroad industry that use the high hazard train route through the city, meaning they're transporting hazardous materials through Eugene. The implementation of the fossil fuel risk fund would lay the cost on the industry and not pass it on to the Eugene community. The city needs to require fossil fuel companies to be adequately insured, and we also recommend the city to require fossil fuel companies to pay into a climate risk trust fund for costs incurred from climate change. And thank you, and I pass it back to Zach.
Thank you. The other two proposals that we have been hoping for additional action on were our energy and buildings and food security proposals. On energy and buildings, while the city has a very good plan for reducing transportation emissions in our transportation system plan and our Move EUG active transportation plan, we don't right now have a comprehensive plan for how to reduce emissions from buildings. The good news is that the city actually started a really great process in 2019 in the gap analysis. And so the commission has recommended that we actually return back to that gap analysis and get a staff recommendation on which of the policies in that analysis would be most effective at helping the city reach its long-term climate goals at the lowest cost and in an equitable way. So we're hoping that when the city comes back to that gap analysis, that there's a staff recommendation on which policies are going to be most effective and that we can implement some of those. And on food security, there's an issue where there's not enough community garden space for all of the individuals in our community that would really like it. And there's also an issue where we're not telling our food story really well. The city is doing really amazing work on supporting local food businesses as well as connecting people with food. And there's a desire just to help tell our story better by, hopefully aggregating some of those things on our website to get that information out to the public. So the solution there would probably be to add additional staff capacity to help oversee additional garden space or to create additional community partnerships where community groups can step up to help in their areas of the community to support that work. Samantha is going to talk about some potential next steps that staff have recommended for these actions to help move them forward in a meaningful way. Talk about sort of the timeline for this next year. So we'll pass it back to her and then we will have time for questions and feedback.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach and Mtima. As you can tell, counselors, this is a huge, huge body of work representing hours and hours and hours of research. And so we want to recognize that, but we also recognize that you all clearly have a lot on your plate. And so climate work, of course, is an urgent issue. And so we're looking at ways that we can move this forward in a quick manner. It's our hope that we can find innovative strategies to find alignment with currently scheduled work sessions and tasks. And so examples of this are in the far right column of the table that you have in front of you. Really quickly, just to briefly touch on these, because we want to get to our question and answer portion of this. The air quality, food security, and fossil fuel risk bond proposals all require additional funding to move forward. We are looking at including these items along with other CAP 2.0 priorities in the upcoming work session around climate funding. Work around the energy and building proposal aligns really well with the CAP 2.0 additional strategies, and staff are planning to bring this back in the fall as well. So we are happy to answer any questions you might have about that. Really quickly, I just want to briefly touch on a proposed FY22 timeline. We recognize that this is a unique opportunity to communicate around goals and anticipated actions. And so ahead of the upcoming August retreat, where the Commission will develop their work plan for FY22, we'd love to hear any feedback you have about the direction of these communications between yourself and the Commission and the really important work that they're doing to forward our climate goals here in Eugene. So happy to answer specific questions around these If you have any, we can of course reference the slide, but I want to make sure we leave plenty of time for questions. So I'll go ahead and wrap up our presentation here. And Mayor, I'll pass it back over to you.
Great, thank you very much. That was some fast talking over some really important information, and that council packet was full of information. So I appreciate all of the work that this commission has done. And I see that Alan has a comment. So Alan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I wanted to thank Zach for his work on the commission and all the rest of the commissioners as well, but in particular Zach, for being the chair this year. And if I've got it right, Zach, you're going off the commission. Yeah, so thank you for your work. On the topic of funding, I just wanted to point out, we do have a work session poll that passed that I put out on climate change action funding, which is coupled with homelessness services funding. And that would help us look at getting more staff and projects funded to combat climate change. So a lot of that gets wrapped up in that, I think. I had the opportunity to be with the urban forestry folks this last couple of days, or this weekend on Friday. And when you're looking out over the city, you see a lot of trees, but the reality is the canopy has been declining about 1% a year. And that's part of our climate change and our environmental and our livability issues. And I applaud Councilor Sirett for adding money to the urban forestry during the budget process, but I think we need to do a lot more than that because it is declining. And part of it's due to storms, part of it's due to development. But we do have a new nursery for trees and stuff, which is great over at Roosevelt. So that's awesome that we're moving forward in that regard. On CAP 2.0, when we put together the CAP 2.0 rules and the motion that and resolution that I put forward, we made a commitment to meet our annual goals. And when we do that, we look backward and say, in that 2019, did we meet that goal? And if not, we need to true up so that we did. And the true up takes the form of offsets. And we recently just purchased some offsets through the Climate Trust, which is an amazing organization, used to be the chair of it. And they do good work in creating all this. But I would like to see if the Sustainability Commission can't take on the effort of looking at how we might work with them or other people to do local offset projects so that the money stays here and we get climate reduction. So I think that's our primary goal. I know the time was tough to get that going, and it's a lot of work to make sure that it all works and meets all the protocols and the international protocols. On the buildings, I think 80% of our emissions come from existing buildings, not new. With eWeb, we're at nearly carbon free. We will be by 2035, 2040 in Northwest Natural. So work has buildings too. Working on energy efficiency of those buildings on the existing stock, which is again 80% of the emissions, is really, really a big deal and important. And then finally, the climate actions and the gap analysis and all that stuff, we really need to get working towards a McKinsey curve, which lays out all of the actions from biggest bang for your buck, B cubed, those things, so we can get a sense of which ones are the most important to do and in what order. And I think that's a big task to do, which is why we haven't done it. And thank you for all the work and the great packet.
Are there other counselors who wish to?
I can respond if that's.
Oh, yes, please do. Please do.
Thank you for those comments, Alan. To start off, I would point out we do have an open urban forestry committee that is work ongoing. So I expect that they will finish up their work over the summer and report back at some time next year or later this year when they finish that recommendation. Thank you for the thought on offsets. I expect, there will probably be some discussion of that idea of what the commission's role in looking at offsets and potential local offset projects, if that is something that the new commission is interested in taking on. And then on the energy and buildings recommendation that we sent, It's not quite a McKenzie curve that we put in there, but we did take all of the ideas from that gap analysis and we put them into a bar graph that shows both the cost of those recommendations according to the staff research that had been done 2 years ago, as well as the potential scale of each of those recommendations. So my hope is that when this comes back to council, that the idea would be to, yes, go for the things that are going to get us the biggest bang for the buck as we try to reduce our emissions. Thanks.
Of which most are in the transportation sector, by the way.
Yes, I believe 25% of our emissions are from natural gas currently.
I said transportation.
Yes, I understand a little over half is from transportation and a little over 25% from 2019 was from natural gas in buildings.
Hey, thank you for that. Mike and then Matt.
I want to thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everybody who's here today for the report and the commission in its entirety for all of the hard work. Mayor, we have 15 minutes left and one counselor with a question still. May we return to the prior subject if we have extra time? Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, Matt.
Thanks, Mayor, and thank you to the Sustainability Commission for the report and staff for the work. In my capacity as council's liaison to LRAPA, the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, I would welcome the opportunity to bring to LRAPA the council's concerns based on the commission's recommendations as they relate to CAP, to our existing ordinance. In particular, the uncertified wood stoves issue that was brought up, the monitoring of known polluters instead of relying on citizen complaints, idling trains. I would add to that idling vehicles in drive-throughs or in delivery. I would add gas-powered leaf blowers. The 12.8 million pounds of hazardous pollution in the air we breathe is alarming, and I need help and assistance, Mayor, through LRAPA to advance the city's agenda. I would ask for council's blessing, Mayor, with your permission, to convene a special committee that includes Eugene representatives to LRAPA, Jenna Nee, Howard Saxton, myself, and Sustainability Chair Emeritus Zach Mulholland to do and in conjunction and cooperation with staff, Samantha and Chelsea, I invite you to participate if there aren't objections, to advance the work through the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency that's in front of us today.
Don't think you need a committee to.
Yeah, it looks like the city attorney has a comment on that request. So
I just want to, you have very specific code provisions around the formation of committees, and there are some very specific requirements. And so I didn't know that this was going to happen. So I'm not prepared to kind of run through based on what you just described, how to fit it within the code. But if this can be scheduled at a later time, I can help you come up with that. If in fact it is a committee that you want to form, you've already set the policy on how you form those committees. And so we need to work within that structure, and I can help you do that, but not on the fly.
Okay.
Thank you, City Attorney. I'm happy to work with you offline. I was thinking more of an ad hoc committee, but whether it's a formal committee or an ad hoc informal committee, I wanted to make my my request known, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I'll leave it there, but I'll happily work with you offline, City Attorney.
Okay, thank you, Claire.
Yeah, just on that note, Councillor Keating, if it's an informal committee, then you don't need the mayor's permission to put it together. I think that's what triggered the city attorney's hand going up. Obviously, if staff time's involved, then you do need some permission, I guess, from the city manager. I would prefer that we hold a work session on those recommendations. I mean, obviously, Councillor Keating, you can dig into them and do that work that you outlined on your own volition, but I made a note to put in a work session poll to talk about these specific air quality recommendations from the Sustainability Commission. And so that would be my preference in terms of how we take those next steps. And I also want to thank Zach for his service on the commission and your leadership as chair.
Okay, thank you. Zach, did you want to respond? I also have councilors speak.
Yeah, as the most kind of complex of the proposals we put forward is the air quality one. I think that additional work would be extremely valuable and appreciated. And while I appreciate, the potential invite to me, I would actually recommend Louisa DeHeer, who was the chief kind of author and researcher of the proposal, would be the person to, and as an ongoing commission member, would be the person that could really help facilitate and help with that work. So I just wanted to put her name forward as the go-to. And thanks very much for the interest in this proposal, given its impact on our community.
Okay, thank you. Alan, did you have one more comment?
Yeah, just for Matt, an ad hoc committee is what we actually create. That's the formal committee that the city council does. So don't call it that. If you want to do something informally on your own and involve staff, that's fine. You could do that to discuss issues. But I agree with Claire. These are significant enough issues that I think you should put a work session poll forward and have the council discuss them. In particular, the city's role in doing that at LRAPA is pretty limited. Almost all of these rules are state law, and LRAPA is our state enforcement regulator. So the work to get the changes is quite substantial. It's not something we have the authority to do for a lot of these things at a local level.
Okay, thank you. Matt?
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks to Councilors Lincoln and Councilor Syret for the recommendations, and also recognizing what's in our lane and what isn't. I have already channeled my inner Betty Taylor at LRAPA in regards to vehicular emissions, and it was made really clear that any sort of smog check system would certainly fall under this state law category. I would love to work with you offline, Claire, in regards to advancing a work session as soon as humanly possible. And I appreciate the flexibility and the ability to convene a more informal committee. And if we do need to formalize it, as I've indicated, I'll happily work with the city attorney offline.
Okay, thank you all very much. I also want to take a moment to recognize Zach's contribution. He has presided over an extraordinarily productive Sustainability Commission. They've done a huge amount of work. It's very in-depth work, and it aligns and complements the work that you have committed to as policy in the Climate Action Plan 2.0. So I think going forward, it's very exciting to recognize that we have this opportunity to find those points of alignment where their work really supports the city's work in moving forward. So thank you very much for that, Zach. Thank you, Matima, for your presentation and contribution in helping us move forward. And I do see that Emily would like to speak, so I'll turn it over to you, Emily.
Well, I feel as liaison to the Sustainability Commission, I have to say something. They're fantastic. They work so hard. They have so many meetings. You'd think they met every day if you looked at the public meetings calendar. They do pretty much meet every week. And Zach, thank you so much. You have so much energy and knowledge and intelligence about these issues. We're going to be hard pressed to keep up with you. So I'm counting on you to keep doing your work and funnel it through whoever you can onto the commission. You've been phenomenal. And the whole commission, a lot of accolades. And I know that we come up with so many ideas, all of which would help save the earth, and the city council only has a small amount of time. So it's very frustrating to not be able to have many work sessions on these many great ideas. And I just want to acknowledge that. I wish we had a full-time council. Maybe we could take on more stuff. Thank you, Sustainability Commission.
Okay, thank you very much. And thanks for that presentation, very succinct. And there's a lot of material to read and to reread in the packet. So we appreciate that, appreciate the report. Zach, again, thank you for your ongoing commitment to this community and to a cooler planet. And with that, thank you. We can close this. We do have 5 minutes. I am certainly open if there are other comments that need to come forward from the previous council work session. I will open that to you. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is Matt still available with his slideshow presentation? If not, then we'll have to do this at a different time. That was the basis of the comments I wanted to make. City Manager?
Councilor Clark, I can bring that up quickly if that's helpful.
There you are. Can you put that slide presentation back up on the calls for service graph? Thanks, sir. You mentioned that this is the general public calling and complaining about homelessness, right? The blue line, right?
It's the general public. Our request for service system is how city staff that are out in the field put in requests for action as well. So it's the general public and our own team that enter these.
Okay, so those are the number, and I'm seeing. I understand now. What's ROW, right of way camping? Is that what that is?
That's
ROW.
correct.
Okay. Would you like to characterize why the ones along the bottom seem to be staying the same, and or why the vehicle camping is complaints are skyrocketing as they are?
So generally, I think it's because we are doing work in West Eugene and other areas where there are a lot of vehicle campers. We will temporarily close the street to clean it because there's a large amount of garbage and trash and some other sanitation challenges that will build up over time. And when we do that, what we've seen is those folks are moving to another location. So when they move to another location, we get another spike in requests for service from the neighboring businesses and properties.
Are we impounding any of those vehicles?
I don't know. It doesn't look like Jeff is still on the call. We are on occasion. We are not impounding a great number of them. We try to allow folks to be able to leave when we're closing the street. There also is limited capacity for towing companies to impound vehicles. This is another challenge we're working with them on, because if they do impound them and they're not claimed, it costs a couple $1,000s to actually dispose of them, and that's a financial burden on the towing companies that we're working with them on.
On the former piece that you mentioned that you try to work with folks to allow them to move on, is that based on council policy direction that you make that decision?
No, and when I say that, I mean, if a posting comes up and we're there ready to tow and they're in the act of trying to move, we won't start with them, right? We'll allow them to try and move out of that area as we start our cleaning operation. So it's not a council direction, it's just an operational procedure.
Will you please talk about the work you do to follow up on where that particular vehicle goes? For example, if somebody's just moving 2-3 blocks down the street, do you stay and watch?
So I'm not personally out there normally. We have our parking services and EPD are typically on site. Where people move, it depends on what location they're at. Sometimes it's probably not a block or two away, it's a little further, but there are some instances where it's potentially relatively close.
And So do you think our policy is helping with the number of complaints if the only thing that occurs, or the majority of things that occur, is somebody just moves a few blocks? Would you suggest different policy may be helpful here?
Well, I think
in decreasing the number of complaints.
So I think the thing that's probably most impactful is establishing safe sleep sites and safe parking sites so people have a place to go that's not, another street. The changes that you made to parking regulation, that'll go into effect on the 24th, were tools that our parking services folks were looking for and helping to manage the problem as well. I think once those are in place, we'll have an understanding of how successful those are as well with managing complaints.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate all the hard work you do. This has to be challenging. I would say lastly that I believe our policy on how we deal with this is inadequate. I agree with a great deal of a number of the things that Alan said about the fact that over the last several decades, we certainly have inadequate capacity for mental health services and for drug addiction. However, those, in the manner in which he suggests that, we take an immediate leap to, therefore, that causes homelessness. Therefore, it's the public's responsibility to house those folks or to find them a solution. Those are the pieces where I think there's disagreement in our community, unreflected by our council policy. I don't disagree that those are inadequacies in the system, because I think people who want help to get better and to get well, we should absolutely do everything we can to see that they have the help that they need. But it ignores those who don't want to get well and don't want to live within the guidelines of the behavior and the expectations we have for behavior. And that's what we need to address in policy. Thank you.
All right, Randy, I know you're waiting impatiently and patiently both, so I'll let you go. Take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with a lot what Councilor Clark just said about that. I will add on the street parking system, which, you all know I've been watching that very closely because the majority of those spikes are in my area. But what I have seen is it's not like people are being moved every day, but when there is some movement, there's less accumulation, there's less development of a turf mentality for the street, which has led to some very dangerous confrontations. And it at least is a way of keeping the problem from hitting a dangerous level. It's not perfect. It's not how I want to see this thing handled, but we have limited tools right now. As far as a question asked earlier by Councilor Zelenka regarding license plates on the vehicles, again, I'm out there pretty much every day, and I see a lot of vehicles with no license plates. A lot of them that do haven't had a current tag for years. We have nonprofits that are delivering, I've been told, delivering some of these vehicles and just dropping them off on the streets. So sometimes the license plate, if it is an Oregon plate, doesn't always reflect where the person is from. So I don't think that that's a very accurate way to measure this issue. The other thing, as I've brought up before, is as we do start moving people to safe sites, some of these RVs, which aren't weather tight, they're not really set up very well at all, but they also take up a lot of space. And at some point, finding a way to having the more permanent structures that are built that, again, Pastor Gabe and his group are doing this. I mean, kind of like what we have at Opportunity Village. Those actually provide a better means for housing people, and they take up a smaller footprint. If you got a single person in a 35-foot RV, I mean, that takes up a lot of space that could be better apportioned to get more people into a safe site. And then I had a question, and I heard Councilor Zelenka ask it, but I didn't hear an answer. And that's, do we have adequate numbers of nonprofits ready to manage these sites within the last 2 weeks? And I'm asking this because within the last 2 weeks, I visited the Dawn to Dawn camp on Highway 99 that's managed by St. Vincent de Paul, and also the community supported shelter sites, which hasn't been opened yet, that's at 99 in Barger. And both those groups said they are at or beyond capacity right now and could not take on any additional responsibilities for sites. And they're having a hard time attracting and retaining employees to do this work. So I guess my question is for Matt and Christy is, are we set up now that we've approved these sites? Do we have people ready to go to manage them, or is that yet another piece we need to come up with?
Councilor Gross, the site, oh, sorry, I was slow to my button. The sites that you approved today have providers. It's, you know, kind of working to open up more sites. I think that we'll need to be working really closely with the provider groups to see what we can pull together.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's good to hear. And I think it's something we all need to stay plugged into, is making sure we've got the capacity to meet the demand as we grow it.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you all. I'm glad we had a couple of minutes for you to get your last couple of comments and questions in. This is obviously ongoing. It's possible that we'll have an emergency meeting. And I would agree with you. I think this investment in the nonprofit providers is sort of the critical investment. It's not all on the city's shoulders to make that investment. That's a broader conversation about how people are trained, how they're compensated, how they're supported in doing that work. And that's a big, important conversation for us regionally and statewide and nationally, I think. So it's a good time to shine a light on it. Thank you all very much. Thanks for hanging in there. And thank you, staff. And we are adjourned.